when he does. If he gets a good read on what Neuz is trying to do, and if Neuz is even scared slightly, HazardL's going to run with this set.
Well, Neuz has got to be careful about the way he dodges. HazardL already on the weapon of comfort. Goes in, immediate two-piece. Neuz does burn the dodge, but he doesn't get caught up in more and suddenly finds some momentum.
Yep. Again, just HazardL doing his thing. Just getting his onesies, twosies. He's not really focused on, pushing these combos further than really is comfortable. But look at that. Nice little three-piece, looking like my Popeyes order.
You don't get the family meal and save some for later?
I get like an extra biscuit, too, because I'm a dangerous man.
Oh, we got a wild one here, but a wild NSIG from HazardL gives them the lead over Neuz.
Yeah, honestly, just what I expect so far. Haz is definitely rising to the occasion here and letting Neuz know, hey, man, like, I know you got a hammer, too. You got some strong hits in your arsenal, but they are not going to match mine. Mine are going to matter that much more. And Neuz, look, just kind of struggling to get anything going here.
Yeah, I think the pressure getting to Neuz a little bit as he's not finding that momentum. He got a stomp, but didn't even get the side air afterwards. The true combos slipping out of his hands.
And there we go. I like this. Drops the hammer. We've seen Neuz play earlier. They look to be much more comfortable when they have the sword in hand, right? But they're still just struggling to find a hit here. HazardL's defensive game plan is just incredible so far.
Yeah, definitely a sword player. We saw that against Kaina's hammer in the Bodvar mirror match earlier today. But he throws away the sword. He still needs to even up the stock count.
Ooh, looking for that stomp Sair, not going to be able to find it. Just looking for a Sair anyway. Does get the SIG. We saw him throw that quite a few times earlier and finally landing it.
He's a big fan of those bears as he throws them out very frequently. Throws out an NSIG there, and it's going to be the punish from HazardL.
HazardL with the sword in hand, now the crowbar. See if they can continue to push this lead further, but Neuz starting to feel like they're getting a little comfortable here. It definitely is a little bit nerve-wracking when you're going against HazardL, but when you feel like you're starting to figure out their habits, right? See what you can get going. Neuz, again, looking a little more comfortable here.
Yeah, but he can't be too comfortable as he is in the red. HazardL just needs a dodge read. The Nair might do it if he gets another one. Neuz with the hammer in hand, not finding any hits. Another Nair, and yes, HazardL with the lead.
Wow, yeah, beautiful play there. Haz going to continue to push this lead further as the match goes on. Nearly a whole stock lead here, too. He's just kind of barely getting into the yellow, but with the way that he's been playing, that may as well just be a fresh stock.
Yeah, he's not worried at all about that tiny bit of damage that's on this stock. Doesn't get the read this time. Neuz actually just raw jumps out of it. He's being a little bit smarter about not immediately dodging.
Okay, just barely missing out on that conversion. Yeah, this is definitely looking a little bit tough here. Haz, great play, putting on some big damage here. Going to be looking to close it out. Won't find the hit that they need.
Yeah, really smart punish from HazardL. Saw that gravity cancel, means a burn dodge. No dodge. Oh, he waits for it. He gets a past it, but the bear not going to work out. It's HazardL off the soft platform. Downlight recover to take game number 1.
Where did he take that? Where did he pick up that sword? I saw him with the great sword. All of a sudden, he had a small sword. He's like, all right.
He's a magician.
He is a magician. Well, just making that crowbar appear out of nowhere.
It's like those people with the cane sword, right? Like they untwist the top and a sword comes out. But he untwisted the great sword and a baby sword came out.
Baby sword.
Or I guess a crowbar in this instance.
Yeah, right there. Okay. I just didn't see the weapon spot, but great stuff either way. A beautiful game 1 here for HazardL. And you look at that damage output, once again, just capitalizing 100% more damage across the board. Like, that is rough.
And all of it on the greatsword. 41 damage put out on the sword. A lot of that in that final recovery. And Neuz is like, all right, well, I need to find what is the perfect answer to specifically greatsword. And he's hoping that it's going to be the Ulgrim for game number 2.
Ulgrim, a strong character indeed. Axe to be able to trade with a lot of those heavy blows, but also having that rocket lance to kind of help with some of that movement. I feel like on Bodvar, they didn't really have the movement they needed to be able to dive in and out of HazardL's gameplay so far. But here we go. Haven't seen this map in a bit.
No, it's actually been a while since we've seen some Crystal Temple. The double platforms might be nice for Neuz, but it also could be rough if HazardL starts throwing out more of those greatsword N6. Those can cover that soft platform.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, even then, like, their combo game has been phenomenal so far. We haven't seen it too much of the aerial, but, great sword, kind of better on ground anyway. But, yeah, Neuz, I expect to fully take advantage of this, and we'll see if they can.
Wow, Neuz actually backed off there. He got the sideline, but didn't opt to go for a second hit there. HazardL struggling a little bit as he's waiting for that great sword spawn. Now that he's got it, going to try to find the opener.
All right. Ooh. Yeah, this is getting a little bit nerve-wracking, but yeah, HazardL has a great sword in the hand, and this is where like the game pace has just changed entirely. You can see that Neuz is just recognized, all right, doesn't have the sword anymore. I got to respect things just a little bit better here, because when HazardL gets those punishes, he really makes them count. He puts a lot of damage down, more than I'd be comfortable with.
Yeah, I mean, HazardL, just so much scarier. When he's got the great sword in hand, you got to respect it a lot more. Really changed the pace of the game, and now we're seeing Neuz swap over to the axe. HazardL, it's interesting the way he's doing his greatsword play. In the last set, he was going opener and then go for the dodge read. This time he's going for the two-piece, getting that extra hit for free, because Neuz is being a lot more careful about when he goes in with a dodge.
Whoa, trying to go for a big play to close out that first stock. Still is able to close it out one way or another. He may not get the sig, but he'll definitely get the spike. Beautiful stuff.
A great sword of HazardL again, and he holds on to it, resets, uses the weapon toss to open up, gets more, chases, he's out of options, but he can get the wall touch, no! Neuz gets the stock back.
Yeah, you definitely got, just went absolutely wild out of nowhere, and you know, I kind of get it. You definitely got a lot of damage down, you put a lot more fear into Neuz's heart, so I mean, you definitely get to, I think, bully your way into center stage, or at least neutral is going to be more in your favor at this point, because I don't feel like Neuz is going to pull the trigger quite as fast now.
Honestly, that's just like a clip that you cut early. You just get like, oh, that was super hype, and he totally finished it at the top. It was so cool.
All right, well, we'll see if HazardL can continue to bully his way into this game two. All right, they're using the sword. Nothing super crazy, but just a little bit of damage, putting Neuz off stage.
Downlight. HazardL going to be, again, looking for the recovery finisher here. Maybe a downlight sider if he's in position, but likely the recovery. And, yep, he will find it back to the great sword. Just juggling for a little bit to delay the next weapon spawn.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. And now Neuz just having a little bit of trouble himself. Whoa! Okay, Sig and all sorts of stuff flying out there. Neuz got the better half of that one and just started to chase HazardL off stage, but honestly put himself in a bit of a precarious spot. HazardL, again, having center stage control.
Yeah, HazardL doing such a good job maintaining that stage control. Axe in hand, Neuz doesn't find the finishing blow. He wants the weapon toss. Again, the juggles come out from HazardL.
Okay, nice air dodge, just getting past. The rocket lands here. Oh, huge punish. My God, game two in the books there. HazardL not dropping anything.
Fantastic back dash from HazardL to set it up and go in with the side sig. And HazardL, one game away from halting Neuz's upset run.
Yeah, and like the problem here too is just that like HazardL has effectively almost doubled.
They straight up cut the clip early. They did it.
All right.
They're like, yeah, look cool.
Right,
you got it at the top, and we're done.
I'll give it up. But yeah, no, HazardL so far, he didn't quite double the damage output that Neuz put into that game, but it was close. And game one, like, was 100%. Like, you definitely doubled the damage output. So Neuz has really got to find a way to answer back here, because HazardL's offensive output and the fact that they're playing pretty defensively for the most part, it's just a recipe for disaster at this point.
Yeah, HazardL is just so dominant right now. Coming in with the JN, the Negan, and doesn't have the great sword just yet, but he's still looking comfortable on the sword.
Okay. Getting a little bit of damage here. The sword combos coming out from HazardL. We don't see the sword too often, but when he does have it, he does not waste time. He's still getting his damage one way or another. Ooh. All right, you can see, yep, definitely waiting for that spawn to get a great sword here. And Neuz just actually going to let him grab it. I don't know, at that point, I feel like he's got the sword in hand, and the great sword is obviously the problem. I'm trying to deny him of picking up a great sword at any point in time.
Definitely should be part of the playbook against HazardL. Deny the greatsword whenever possible, but now that he's got it, got to find some sort of solution. The recovery into the nair. Again, the juggles come out. Neuz just trying to find some ground, but it's the side air, and HazardL builds a big lead here in game number 3.
Yep, and they're going to go right back to this great sword. Just wash, rinse, repeat, try to pile on this damage here. And you can see on this third stock, too, they haven't really taken a whole lot of hits. And Haz almost lapping them in stocks for sure here. This is definitely getting super tough here, but the spear is actually starting to make some good plays, answering a lot of what HazardL is trying to doing from above.
Yeah, he is starting to try to find these pokes. Doesn't get the read there with the gravity cancel, but we're seeing HazardL opts to go over to the sword. this might be Neuz's opportunity.
It might be the only opportunity, to be honest, because HazardL's momentum has shown no signs of stopping here. As you can see, he continues to ladder him up, keeping him off stage, too. The footing here is just impossible to get, Neuz.
Yeah, Neuz has not been able to land at all. Finally gets the stock with the side sig, trying to decide what weapon he wants. It's going to be the gauntlets.
Okay, like, I get it. The gauntlets do have, like, a great combo game plan, right? And they're very quick, but I feel like once you had that spear, that's what allowed you to get that stock. That's what allowed you to start putting things into your favor at least a little bit. So hopefully they can figure out the problem that they had with the gauntlets, but if things aren't working out, you better get a spear in your hand.
Yeah, the gauntlets, they can be really good, but against the greatsword from Neuz, it was a bit of trouble. HazardL, not worried about it, though. He'll find the recovery, clean up the stock.
And now the last possible stock for Neuz in this bracket, unless they got something to say about it. But a weapon toss from the sword and then a combo to the greatsword. Man, HazardL is on fire. And honestly, I think this might be a wrap at this point. He's got great combos. He's punishing Neuz for these kind of like willy-nilly attempts at building up damage.
Yeah, Neuz is definitely just trying to find an answer right now. He's just racking his brain saying, what is the answer? The down sig will connect, not even enough. Goes for an end sig read. He's just starting to swing for the fences, hoping that he can trade blow for blow.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to swing for the fences when the guy on the other side is swinging a bigger weapon. And speaking of which, closing that out with a huge sig, taking it 3-0 as HazardL moves on in bracket.
Confident wins from HazardL, who can halt this run. He's just looking so dominant game after game. We're even going to see here 630 damage put out, or more than double the damage taken.
Yeah, I mean, throughout the entire set, has just doubled the damage.